Make sure my sound on. Let me know y'all can hear me. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? I was gonna try to show y'all the video, but it seemed like somebody was hating on the live stream, so I ain't gonna say no names. I don't know how none of that works. So, but it's all good. I'm gonna set up a viewing for everybody to hear it. I mean, see it. You know what I'm saying? See it and hear it and pay attention. Um, just trying to make sure everything's live and everything sound good right now. Um, so yeah, let me know if y'all can hear me. Comment. Let me know it sound good, look good. How y'all doing today? Especially after a long week of elections. You know, Tuesday was a long day. It's been long days for everybody. So talk to me a little bit while we get everything squared away as we dive into Arizona politics right quick. You know, so doing today. Sound good. Sound good. There we go. Let's pin to the profile. Let's go here. Long days for everybody. So talk to me a little bit. All right. We're gonna share it out. Share broadcast. New tweet. We gonna retweet. We gonna all of that. Yeah, we good. We good. Oh, that's what's up. What up, James? What's up, bro? How you doing? How you doing? We gonna get into it though. The reason why I'm doing this live though, is as some folks may know, those who don't know, um, and let me get this straight right quick too, because I had somebody hit me up. As y'all know, I tweet a lot about Cori Bush, and when it come to Cori Bush, let's just say, um, look, I ain't new to this, right? Like when Corey posts on our page, we talk about being A1, talk about being down for each other from the beginning. That's exactly what it is. I had somebody say, something off the wall. It don't matter. It's all good. But if you look at my shirt, right, this is Corey's shirt from 2016 when she ran for United States Senate, which some folks don't know. Um, but which she had my full support then. Um, so when we talk about being A1, that's exactly what that means. So don't get it twisted. Let me make sure I can get the shirt in here a little bit. Shouts out to Corey Bush. I love you. You already know you're amazing. Um, and keep it up. Keep it up. We know what you got. We know what you're gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? We know you're gonna fight. So appreciate you to the fullest. But for those who don't know, I live in Arizona. I live in the Phoenix area, and when I say I look, first off, I didn't move here to get involved in politics. I didn't move here to get involved in the movement. I moved here to heal from a lot of things that was happening in St. Louis, a lot of things that happened to me in St. Louis personally. Um, when I say I didn't come here to necessarily get involved, I didn't. Um, I came here to I came here to get myself together, um, to heal and get to a space where I could fight. Now, I guess I didn't know that that fight would be coming so soon. But at the end of the day, we don't get to pick and choose when we fight, especially when you destined, especially when that's what you do. Um, and I knew what I signed up for coming to this fight initially anyway. And so here we are. Here we are, fighting the fight, fighting a lot of the fights that we were fighting 6 years ago, um, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, so on and so forth. And so I hit the streets, got involved in the protest. I'll save y'all that long story. I've told that a couple times, but got involved in the protests that were going on here. And as I got involved in a protest that were going on here, I realized there was some young folks out there banging, right, fighting, who were, you could see the passion, um, you can see what they wanted to accomplish, and I just tried to be there. I just tried to be there, offer my advice, so on and so forth. And it still shouts out to everybody who out there fighting the fight. So, as you know, when you fighting against systemic racism, when you fighting against these policies that have been put in place, um, built by people to keep brown and black communities impoverished, you start to realize the politics that's involved in it. You start to realize, the different pieces of legislation, the different players, the different everything in the game. And although I've only been in Arizona for a year, politics is politics. And from St. Louis to here to other cities that I worked in and work with other folks from other cities, um, there are a lot of things that are like when it comes to local and state government, when it comes to the Democratic parties, um, the state parties, as well as the local county parties and city parties. And so, that's something that wasn't exclusive to all these different places. So I came here and quickly started to understand the landscape. No, I don't know the long history of Maricopa County. I don't know the long history of Phoenix. I don't know the long history of Arizona politics. I've done my research, but nothing prepares you like lived experience. I know I've gone through injustice in the city in the last year and a half. I know I've been unjustly prosecuted in this city. I know I've been unjustly targeted in this city. I know so many that look like me, um, that are in this fight, in the same fight, who are being prosecuted unjustly. So I really don't have to know the history. I could tell you what the now is. Um, and the now is, it seems to me as if, like so many other places, like Missouri, you have folks playing by the same playbook, doing the same things that they've done. Now, I'm gonna try as hard as hell not to make it as personal. But the worst thing you can tell somebody that actually gives a fuck about people is don't take politics personal. I remember being elected in Missouri and so many people telling me, "Oh, don't take you can't take it personal." Why the fuck can't I take it personal? if I give if I give two damns about my community, if I actually care about those who are facing challenges and barriers, those who I am representing, those who I'm fighting for each and every day, if I actually care, right, like wholeheartedly care, then how the hell can I take politics personal when people continue to play politics with other folks' lives, right? Um, this whole idea of flipping seats, right? Turning things blue. Let's talk about this. When you talk about turning a seat blue, let's say it's a Senate seat, let's say it's a legislative rep seat, or a state Senate seat, or whatever it is. Let's say that's the goal, right? Whatever. Fine. Makes sense. Uh you you got to pay attention to the entire landscape. Now, when I first came to Arizona, one thing folks told me, which I not only didn't care about, but I was trying to figure out why they was telling me this. I would say stuff about the black community, and somebody would say, "Well, black folks only 6% of Arizona." I don't give a, I don't care. I don't care if it's one. I don't care if it's two black people in the entire goddamn state. That's two black lives we need to be fighting at all costs for. Because whether it's 6% or 60%, they're still being affected disproportionately by the damn system. So no matter how many black folks you got, But let's talk about that 6% and where they concentrated at. Let's talk about the amount of black and brown people that are in South Phoenix. Let's talk about those communities that y'all ain't showing up in. And now, and I'm still speaking straight to politics. I'm still speaking straight to politics. Shouts out to Mass Liberation, wonderful organization that I've had the honor and fortune to work with, to be a part of in these past several months when it comes to doing this work and organizing around this election. You're talking about a organization based in South Phoenix, an organization of directly impacted folks who are fighting for those who face these challenges and barriers in the most impoverished, the communities that look like us. So you're talking about somebody that's doing the work. You're talking about an org that's doing the work. I've been fortunate enough to be not only connected with them, but work with them and do some great work. So this entire time we have been, concentrating on a couple races. We had made a whole bunch of phone calls. We did texts. We did all these different things, right? Real organizing. Then it came to the point where it's election day. Now, I could have it all the way wrong. Maybe states do it differently. Maybe some states and some cities move differently when you're trying to flip a seat or when you're trying to make substantial fucking change in an election. Maybe some other places do it differently. And what I'm going to say and what I'm going to bring forth is not going to matter at the end of the day who wins or loses the local races. I know some of the races aren't called yet and some of them are close and there's still ballots coming in. So this has nothing to do with whether who wins or loses. This is talking about the process. This is talking about what I seen leading up to this, including on election day, that I found problematic as fuck. All right, and I'm hoping that all the folks who were tagged, all the elected officials who were tagged, all of the political parties and the organizations, I hope that they are tuned in. I hope that I just hope that they tuned in and I hope that they take heed. But if they do take it personal, fuck them. Because at the end of the day, like, nobody has time for that because y'all wasn't tripping off of the people in South Phoenix. Y'all wasn't tripping off the folks who are disproportionately affected by the system. So I could really care less if you take this personal. But I don't know any of you personally enough to make it personal with you. So come election day, first problem. From the time the polls open to the time the polls close, we were in the streets. From the time the polls open to the time the polls close, we were in the streets. We went to those polling locations in South Phoenix, in D7, D8, right? Spent a lot of time in D7 though. I'm gonna tell you who I saw in D7. I saw two of the candidates running for council, city council, which I refuse to name either one of them because, as we realized through a panel, that neither one of them had the best interests of those who were in South Phoenix, which South Phoenix folks spoke to that, and we listened to them, and I listened to them. And so, but I saw a couple of the candidates. I saw one of the other candidates, their team was there, right? The last maybe hour, some Arizona for Biden people came, held a sign, danced for about 30 minutes and left. Um, there was definitely Trump supporters there. Definitely Trump supporters there the entire time in South Phoenix. The entire time. A Trump supporter and a Latinos for Trump representative, and they passed out their literature. There was the pro-police Republican mayoral candidate there passing out our literature. That was the other candidate. I know it's supposed to be nonpartisan or whatever, but we saw what it was. There was another mayoral candidate who wasn't the one who was favored. It wasn't Mayor Kate Gallego. Um, who was there? I'm gonna tell you who I didn't see in South Phoenix. I didn't see anybody handing out Mark Kelly literature. I didn't see anybody handing out um, Mark Kelly's literature. They weren't handing out Biden's literature. They weren't handing out. There were no sample ballots to say, "Hey, the Maricopa Democratic Party was not there handing out sample ballots saying, "Hey, these are our candidates." We were there with um, anti-Alistair and Julie Gunnigal um, lit, but there was there was nobody there for the board of supervisors. There was nobody there for any of these races. Any of these races, just the council, just the conservative, Republican folks, and that's it. I lived in Phoenix area for a year and some change now. I lived in Tempe before I moved to where I'm at, and that's in Maricopa County. And I could tell you how much literature I got leading up into the race. I could tell you who came and knocked on our door to bring a yard sign. It was Debbie. And I know it's a pandemic outside. I know. I'm not saying put yourself in harm's way and knock doors and interact with people. But lit drops, last minute voters that are coming in to be able to just hand them as we have masks on, as we continue to social distance, but just a quick, hey, hey, how do you expect people in black and brown communities to continue to show up for the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party ain't even showing interest in them? As we see nationwide, y'all can say whatever y'all want, y'all can talk about whatever y'all want. Once again, black folks are the backbone of the Democratic Party, specifically black women. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Yes, there have been amazing numbers. Yes, shout out to the spike in numbers when it came to voting for our Latino community. Um, absolutely. But right now, I'm gonna be real specific, and this ain't no diss to nobody. Once again, black folks save democracy. Once again, black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. What y'all gonna do? Arizona was so set on Mark Kelly flipping the seat, which is cool. You got Mark McSally out. That's cool. She's horrible. Absolutely. But we didn't see Mark showing up in black communities. We didn't see these other candidates showing up in black communities. Y'all didn't even have the audacity. Y'all didn't even have the wherewithal to show up on election day to pass out literature, to give somebody literature, to pay somebody to pass out literature, to get your volunteers to show up to pass out literature, to get your nieces and nephews or sons or daughters or brothers or sisters and throw a damn t-shirt on them and show up and pass out y'all literature. Y'all just said, you know what? Fuck it. They gonna vote Democrat anyway. Fuck it. They're just gonna vote down ballot. I don't know how many times y'all gotta get bumped on the head before y'all figure out it's real. When people don't know, they're not just, especially now, especially our younger folks that think more independently. Especially our black folks, that if our black and brown people that think more independently, they not finna just vote blue. They're not just finna say, oh, this is the left side, so I'm gonna vote all the way down here. No, they gonna go. They know they want Trump out of here. They seen enough Mark Kelly commercials and billboards and shit to say, oh, that other lady ain't for us. Cool. Boom. But then after that, what? What other help do they have? What other information do they have? What other things have been set forth? Because you cater to the other communities, you show up and do lit drops, you show up and do coffees, you show up and do virtual Zooms. And why could none of y'all candidates connect with organizations that are on the ground that have the following in the base of South Phoenix, West, parts of the North, black and brown communities, like Mass Liberation, Black Phoenix Organizing Collective, all these different folks, right? They have the base. Mark Kelly didn't. I ain't see him hit up Mass Lib like, hey, I know y'all organization of directly impacted folks that reach, that have a big base. Hey, can we sit down? Nah. No, he didn't. No. Because at the end of the day, and those who are just now joining, go back a little bit and listen, or come from this point on. But trolls will not be tolerated. We ain't got time for that. How are you going to meet people where they are? Because that's the growing thing that the Democrat is the to the communities that are most affected by these policies and procedures. I didn't see y'all concentrating on the Maricopa County attorney's race. Now let's put a pin in there, because I'm gonna make it real fucking personal right now. And this goes for everybody. I didn't see y'all concentrating hard on the Maricopa County attorney's race. Because back when these arrests start happening, let's talk. Because now I'm about to say a couple people names. So y'all can be mad, y'all can't be, I don't really care. I'm about to say a couple people name. I'm looking for something real quick. I'm about to say a couple people name. So back when saying names. Sorry, y'all. There we go. Back when these arrests first started, back when we were in the streets, all these different things were happening, right? Started locking folks up. They were releasing folks. They were throwing charges out at first. Cool. Then they started to keep us. Then they started doubling down on these prosecutions. August 9th was horrible. Didn't have to go the way that it went. Police were absolutely wrong. Prosecutor was wrong for what they prosecuted. I have all of the camera footage, all of that, right? We're going to beat the case. We are going to, exonerate our people. We are going to make sure that we fight at all costs because, we're innocent. But I started to reach out to elected officials. Being a former elected official, being somebody who's worked inside the system, outside the system, cool. Let me reach out to them. Let me, try to communicate. Let me try to maybe help. Let me do whatever it is I could do, right? I reached out to our elected officials. And I'm going to tell you who I got a response from. I'm going to tell you who took the time out to talk. Thank you, Representative Jennifer Germain. Thank you, Representative Diego Rodriguez. Those were the folks that spoke up, even spoke up about it. Representative Diego spoke from a law standpoint, a human standpoint, infringement on rights, First and Fourth Amendment rights, due process, the very things that I wanted people to speak up on. I didn't call anybody asking them for shit. I just wanted to make them aware so they could speak up and use their voice, because I know what it means to use your voice as an elected official. I know what it means to leverage your power as an elected official in order to make sure that folks' First Amendment rights are intact and followed and preserved. Right? Like, I know what that's like. It ain't. I'm not speaking from a place of not knowing, or no, this is lived experience. So I'm reaching out to y'all to say, hey, I get it. I'm reaching out to you, talk to you about protests, talk to you about what's going on. You might hit me with well, we don't know what the truth is, but cool, don't worry about that. I got you the truth. You ain't even got to listen to me. I got the video footage. Sure, I'll send it to you. I got the camera footage. I got the police report. I'll send it to you. I got it. I reached out to plenty of elected officials. And those two elected officials were the only ones. As we just saw in New York Times, because everybody likes to talk about polls and numbers and these big publications and what they just said that a majority of the voters said that the Black Lives Matter protests and protests for Black lives played heavily in the way that they voted. Because those who lived in silos and those who didn't come from our communities, those who didn't look like us, those who hadn't faced police persecution and police brutality and these injustices, they lived in their own bubble until they saw these things. Same thing in 2014 when people started to wake up. So we talking about numbers, and we see right now that, okay, this plays a big factor in the way that folks are voting. People are paying attention, and y'all won't even fucking think politically. Y'all won't even think political enough to address it, to reach out. Like, we ain't gonna even talk about the human aspect and what's right in preserving First and Fourth Amendment rights and understanding that, we were doing everything within the realms of the law, and the system decided to wield its own power. Like, we ain't gonna even talk about that. Y'all couldn't even make a political push, make it political. Like, y'all couldn't even do that. And I reached out to Black elected officials. I reached out to white elected officials. I reached out to brown elected officials. And don't tell me y'all ain't on social media and all these other spots, because y'all seen that too. Y'all retweet and like everything else I put up. You just magically skip over the police misconduct stuff. But you'll like everything before and everything after. But that, it's like, nah, I ain't fucking with that. Let me. So what we supposed to do with you? What are we supposed to do with you? I walk around the city and I talk to folks, and folks are asking me how I feel about this politician or that politician, or what do you think about this politician or that politician? What am I supposed to say? Oh, at least they doing the work. Oh, that's the only black one, so that's the only black man, so we gonna do it this way. Or what about this organization? Because the organizations ain't showing up neither. How do you have a national association for the advancement of colored people, and you ain't showed up for not one person of color during this protest? We are literally being tracked down, kidnapped, targeted. And we can't even get the NAACP to show up. We can't even get our black elected official to show up. We can't get our brown elected official. We can't get the white elected officials that say Black Lives Matter. Because we definitely not just gonna pin it on a black elected official. Because it ain't but a couple of them. We definitely ain't gonna just pin it on them. But I ain't letting them off the hook neither. But we gonna talk about the Ruben Gallegos and the Jennifer Longdons and the Reggie Boldens and all these folks. Y'all ain't showing up. Y'all didn't show up for these folks if this was happening in your community, dog. Calling me saying, hey, can we get together today? Yeah, I got time today. And never call and never being able to get in contact. Nah, that don't work. The many times we've reached out to the congressman's office and to the congressman and via whatever, the mayor, Kate Gallego, you're not off the hook neither. And then we got the nerve to have a Democratic Party state and countywide who don't even want to show up on election day in South End. And I don't care who come comment. I don't care who come hit me up. I don't care who hitting people up that know me or I was there. This ain't no hearsay. I was there for 12 hours. I was there for 12 hours. Ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. We were there for 12 hours. Yes. So this ain't no figment of my imagination. And then when you talk about one of the most important races in the entire country, you'll talk about a prosecutor's race, attorney's race, one of the most important in the entire country, the one that's affecting folks in your community right now, the one that's showing the abuse and the crooked shit and the misconduct of the Phoenix Police Department and the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, easily highlighted with videos and easily highlighted with police reports and easily highlighted with news reports, easily highlighted with political persecutions and examples of political persecutions, and y'all can't show up for that. Y'all can't show up for that. Y'all can't organize around that. Y'all can't put people at the polls to make sure they know to not to fucking vote for Alistair Adele. That you have a candidate. There's only 2 damn people in the race. You mean to tell me Julie Gunnigal's opponent from the primary, can show up to shit to donate to her campaign, to do what he can do in his power to get her elected? An organization of directly impacted folks who have all type of fucking anxieties about this damn office, and a prosecutor can do everything in their power to get Alistair Dale the hell out of there. But the Maricopa Democratic Party, Maricopa County Democratic Party, the Arizona Democratic Party, y'all don't even want to show up on election day? Like, we ain't even talk about what y'all did or didn't do before. Y'all ain't gonna even show up on election day for the last minute voters. And it was a continuous flow where I was at. It was a continuous flow of people where I was at. I'm willing to say 80% people of color. And y'all couldn't show up for that? But then some of the same ones wouldn't show up, got the nerve to push Proposition 207, that horribly written ass ballot initiative. Y'all had the nerve to push 207, but not push the person who said that they weren't going to charge minor marijuana violations, who spoke to all these things, man. We're not trying to hear that shit. So at the end of the day, no matter what happens when these numbers come out, I want to give a special shout out to Whitney Walker, who worked her ass off, Jevin Hodge, who worked his ass off, Julie Gunnigal, who worked her ass off, Recorder Fontes, who did a great job of making sure people can vote, being transparent in this process. I know it made it hard to campaign. But at the end of the day, that's what the fuck you have a Maricopa County Democratic Party for. That's what you have a Arizona State Democratic Party. If you mean to tell me that the only thing that you gave a fuck about turning blue was up top and not these local races, then y'all fucked up for that. And y'all need to do some serious self-searching to try to figure it out. If you're okay with we have or may gain control in the House or the Senate, but you might be losing black candidates. If you're okay with that, y'all fucked up. Y'all need to take a look in the mirror. I really don't care how Arizona politics went or used to go. I would talk about certain elected officials and they say, oh, well, man, that's just him. He lazy. He ain't gonna, you ain't gotta, that shit, I'm not okay with that. You don't get to just be lazy when you represent my people. Yes, my people, black, brown, anybody who sees, who has the same ideological views, who understands that Black lives, who understands that Black Lives Matter, or any of these things. Like, you don't get to just be lazy. You don't get to just, oh, that's how they are. That's what they usually do. Oh, that's just how we, fuck that. We're not accepting that. We don't gotta accept that. We're not accepting that, and we don't got to. And I'm here to let a whole bunch of people know that probably didn't know. We don't have to, and we're not going to. Period. So I hope those go back and look over this and understand, like, nah, y'all fucked up for that. That shit's whack. That's whack as fuck. It's whack. It's wrong. And it's gonna be rectified. Y'all let these folks get in office. Y'all let some of these folks, y'all let these y'all let these some of these states, these countywide seats, they were expendable to y'all. Y'all showed us that. Y'all showed us that. Y'all was willing to ride high when y'all thought, you know what I'm saying, that it was a shoe in or it was, nah, y'all whack as fuck for that. And at the end of the day, we gonna show y'all better than we can tell y'all. Who is we? Us. Who is us? All us. Who is all us? Find out in a little bit. Cause we done with that shit. Whatever happened before I got here, that's cool, but I ain't with none of that. And I know a whole bunch of people that ain't. So that's how we rocking. That's exactly how we rocking. Yeah, I know a million interviews like, yeah, I'm not running for office and I can't, it ain't, I'm healthy now. I'm healthy physically and mentally. And I did amazing work in St. Louis and Missouri. And St. Louis and Missouri never got to see me at 100%, 70 at the most. But now I'm all the way healthy. My mind right, physically healthy. And I've had a whole lot of experience. So now it's time to test it out.